Good morning, everybody. Semi-retired Bob here. Today is a beautiful day. It's about 52 degrees, so as you can see, I've got a jacket on today. Sorry again about that video yesterday, but that's just the way the things go sometimes. And some of you actually seemed to like the sped up walking and the music. But if this is your first time here at the channel, I'd like to say welcome. I'm awfully glad you're here. I am Semi-Retired Bob, and I talk about carnivore diet and all things related to the carnivore diet in general. Sometimes I don't. Today is a very special day. I have heard that a very rare species of bird is migrating today. So we're going to see if we can't go out and spot one of these things. Now you have to be really specific about what you're looking for, because most of these are one species, but I've been told there is such a thing as the other species. But as you can see, we are not walking around my block at home today. We are out at Zarinsky Lake. Good morning.
How are you?
Not too bad. Now see, as you can see, this is not my neighborhood. And I've always said that my why is to get out and do stuff. You know, my first why was just to be able to stand more than 2 minutes at a time without pain. I'm obviously way beyond that. So now I'm out here walking at the lake. And there's a lot more foot traffic on this path than I thought there'd be, for as chilly as it is out today. But that's okay. That just means there's a lot of other people getting out and doing stuff rather than sitting around the house as well. Good morning. No, I don't see anything over there. Oh, there's one. No, that's a bad one. Okay. Oh boy. Let me turn this around so that you guys can see. The walk may not go quite as far today, just because I'm going to stop and show you guys a few things that I'm looking at along the way. I think it looks to me like, for distance wise, if I go all the way across the dam and then back again, that'll be about the right kind of distance. But now that I'm out here again a little further, I'm just going to stop and spin around. I'm going to go this way first, because you can see the street down there, and then, holy cow, look at that. Isn't that awesome? This is way better than walking around my neighborhood. Much better than walking around my neighborhood. But if you're watching this somewhere down in the path of the current hurricane, please be safe. Because ended up getting stuck in New Orleans last year when Ida came rolling in. I had no idea how quickly things would get shut down. I had planned on leaving because I had my mom, who was 86 at the time, there in the house with me. And pastor came over and put the storm shutters on the house for me. And then I told him that I was planning on leaving first thing in the morning. And he's like, Bob, it's already too late to get out of here. I-10 is going to be packed with slow-moving traffic. And if one person gets stuck because their car stalls, that could back traffic up for several hours. And if the storm surge comes in, you could literally get washed off I-10 out into the ocean. Morning, guys. So I was basically stuck until after the storm came through. And of course the power went out about 1 o'clock in the morning. And then the next morning, after the storm had mostly rolled through, there were power lines and other debris down. So I couldn't, the road to the bridge to get off the West Bank and on out of town was closed. And I-10 going west, I was going to go over to a cousin's house in Houston. I-10 was closed. But about a day later, I could get out of town to the east. And luckily, my sister had a friend who spends her summers in Michigan and her winters at her house down in central Alabama. So Janet contacted her, and she got his permission to use the house, and had the friend of hers locally that had the keys come over and let us in. But that was 3 or 4 days the most stressful of my life. Luckily, everything turned out okay. Oh man, talk about coming out okay. I'm going to turn towards the lake again here. We'll turn you guys towards the lake, just so you can see what I'm looking at this morning on this walk. Holy cow. Ooh, down there in the weeds. No, that's a bad one. Not the right one. So that's the story of my experience with a hurricane. I want no part of that, which, the timing of my friend needing a hand worked out pretty good, because it looks like the section of North Carolina I was heading to, while I'm sure it will be just down to a regular storm by the time it gets there, waiting for this thing to completely pass before I head down into that area is probably not such a bad idea. My goodness. This is so much better than walking around the neighborhood. Don't get me wrong. The fact that I can walk is a big deal. It's a huge deal. In fact, I came to a decision last night. Most of you are going to think this is absolutely insane, considering just 4.5 short months ago I could barely stand up. There's something I always wanted to do as a kid, but as you know, went the service, got out of the service, had gout, and my health slowly started to decline, and I couldn't, I've always had trouble walking. Let me back this up just a half step here. I had a guy ask me in the comments, he said, have you done the math on if you continue at the pace you're at and increase 1% per day, how much that'll be in a year? And I said, no, math makes my head hurt. And just a quick calculation in my head without doing the compounding, because if you increase by 1% a day, it's not a constant. That number gets bigger every time. So that's but what I said is, doing the simple math, it seems like it'd be somewhere between 9 and 10 miles, which seemed kind of absurd to me. It's like, wow, I don't know, walking 9 or 10 miles at a time would have seemed really far-fetched just 4.5 months ago. But now that I'm just 28 days into this 1% Better Walking Challenge, that doesn't seem quite so far-fetched. And if I can get to that point, I can now get back to what I think I'm going to try to do. I'm actually targeting late February, early March of 2025. Now I'll explain, because if I spend the rest of this year just walking and taking short hikes, then I should, at that point I'll be able to start actually training for what I want to do. And that will involve more hiking, more going to places, and I hope, look at that. My goodness. Holy cow, that's great. Hopefully one day soon I can bring my big boy camera out here and take some stills to throw in with this. But, oh, there's another, no, darn it, it's a bad one. Not the right one. So, as many of you know from what I've said, I grew up in southern Ohio, southeastern Ohio actually, which is part of the Appalachian Mountains. And while doing this thing is going to take a commitment, starting a year from now, when I'm up to the point where I can walk 9 or 10 miles at a shot, and then start mixing in some shorter hikes here and there, start working on some trail hikes. And remember, you heard it here first, it's probably a bad idea. It'll probably kill me, but targeting the start of the season in 2025, I've decided I want to realize my younger man dream, and I'm going to through hike the Appalachian Trail. So that means part of my hikes in a year, I'm going to have to start adding a backpack just to get used to carrying the weight with me. I'm going to have to start researching actual hiking gear. that kind of stuff. I'm sure right now I have no idea what all it's going to entail, but I got some time to figure it out. And if I'm really lucky, I can talk a couple of my friends into going with me. We'll see how it goes. Now I'm looking, there's a trail down there that's made out of gravel, but I'm to the other side of the lake mostly, as you can see there. You can see how far I've come. There's a bench here. I think this is a good place to turn around and head back for today's hike. Oh, there's one. No, it's another bad one. Darn it. I really wanted to find one of these things and show it to you guys. We'll see how it goes. We've still got half the hike left. You can see over there, see if I can't get the camera panned around there enough. You'll see some cars. I can't see because of the sun glaring, but somewhere over in there are the cars. And that's the parking lot that I'm parked in. So we'll find out for sure when I get back and check the pedometer how far I actually walked today. Right now it feels like I've gone quite a bit, but other than that initial hill that came up to the top of the dam, there hasn't been a lot of up and down. And see, this is what walking out at the lake is like, different from being in the neighborhood. You run into guys like this that are just out having a good time. And yeah, there's a gravel trail that goes all the way along the edge of the lake down there at the bottom of the dam. Maybe I'll try that the next time I come out, rather than just out and back the same trail. I'll go down and around. So anyway, those friends of mine, you know which ones I'm talking to. If I give you from now till 2025 to get ready for it, I know you guys have done some overnight camping trips with your tents and backpacks, and I'm counting on you guys to get me some of the information I'm going to need. But I know it seems crazy considering where I was just 4.5 months ago, but I've made so much progress, and this is all contingent upon me not hitting any snags just in the rest of this year, meaning calendar year, till next August or September, of increasing. If I can get to where I can walk on trails like this 10 to 15 miles a day, and then I can train to where I can do 8 to 10 to 12 miles of hikes a day, I can get it done in one season. I did a quick search, and the average time for experienced through hikers is 2.5 to 3.5 months. But the season, with winter up on the mountain in Georgia and then winter up on the mountain up in New Hampshire, is about 6.5 to 7 months long from one end to the other. And it's depending on trail detours due to different closings and constructions and reroutes and all that. The trail is approximately 2,190 miles long. But if you can average just 10 miles of hiking a day, you can get it done in a season. And the couple of people I found on YouTube were getting it done in 3.5 to 4 months, averaging about 15 miles a day. So we'll see. This might all be a pipe dream. But now I've set a goal that's way out there in the future. I never imagined I'd be able to set a goal that far out in the future. You know, just 4.5 months ago, I could barely stand up. Today I'm walking, we'll see how far it is, but it feels like a good little ways. Hasn't been quite as bad. I gotta switch hands for a second here. Hasn't been quite as bad as the neighborhood because there wasn't a whole lot of up and down going on here. It's all just a long flat trail on top of the dam that they used to make Lake Zorinsky with. So I had that one uphill climb at the start to get up here, which was a lot steeper than some of the other hills in my neighborhood. But on the way back, it'll be a downhill run. So I should be able to finish this anyway. There's another bench up here. So if I felt like I had to, I could stop and sit down on the bench for a while. But I don't feel like I have to. Oops. I do have to get out of the way of this vehicle that's driving on the walking trail for some reason. It's got government tags on it, so they're probably with the Park Service or city government or somebody. I don't know. But there's a lot of people out here walking. And you can see the dock. I'm going to turn around and show you the dock next to the parking lot. Hopefully I am. There it is. There's the docks. There's people fishing off those docks. My goodness. Wow. What a great day. So if any of you have actually ever hiked the Appalachian Trail, either parts of it or know anything at all about hiking, feel free to leave me a comment about that. If you're still here, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost anything, and it certainly does help me out. So what do you guys think about this lake? We'll have to see how far I actually walked today. But this seems, now of course I can't afford to drive over here every day. It's only about 1.5 miles from my house. But that's 3 miles round trip. And in the start-stop traffic of Omaha, that's about 1 gallon of gas in my truck, maybe even a little more. My truck doesn't do very good in town. Once I get out on the highway and get the cruise control set, pulling my trailer, I can average 13 and a half to 14 miles a gallon. It does pretty good. But be sure and let me know what you think down in the comments about this area. Walking out here like this, it's a little windier because there's nothing to block the wind, so I'm sure the audio is a little bit further off. I apologize for that. Oh no, another bad one. Darn it. I really wanted to find one of these that people have been talking about, and I just can't find them. But hopefully everybody sticks around to the end, because I wouldn't have been out here searching for this thing and making such a big deal about it if I hadn't actually found one. So hang around. We're almost done now. There's a gate up there. That leads to the downhill run to the parking lot. And I won't know for sure until I check my pedometer, which of course I can't check right now because it's part of my phone. And I don't want to shut you guys off. Have I mentioned how much I enjoy just talking to you guys? Even if it's a day like today where I don't really have a topic, I'm just sort of covering stuff as it comes to me. I feel like all 1,800 of you are out here walking with me, and I'm just having a conversation with you. Yeah, see, I didn't have this sign on the way up because they don't warn you about uphills. But on the way back, I think I can get it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Warning people that are riding bike that there's a downhill run. Oh, wait. No, it's another bad one. Darn it. I really wanted to find one of these things they're talking about. I'm trying real hard. I came all the way out to the lake, but I haven't been able to find one. So we'll see. We're running down the hill now, and then we'll be back at the truck and ready to call it a day. Good morning. And now we're dropping down off the hill here. Yeah, this is definitely a downhill shot. But I have to tell you, even, because my arthritis has been getting worse and worse and worse over all the years, even as recently as when I was out trying to rehab from my heart surgery, going down a hill like that would have made me scream in pain, would have made my knees hurt so bad. But it didn't do that. And I could feel the pressure on the spots that a sharp downhill like that will put pressure on. But it certainly didn't hurt, which is amazing in and of itself. Even if I hadn't just walked however far this is, when I get home and look at the pedometer, I will put up about right here on the screen what what the distance was today. It feels like I've gone a little more than 1%, but we'll see. Oh, up here around the flagpole, there's some bushes. And I think I see some movement in one of the bushes. I hope this is what I've been looking for all day. Because my truck's literally right there. Let me see here. No. Darn it. I'm sorry, guys. I came out here and hiked the lake and walked all over the place and checked it all. But I cannot seem to find any of that rare species they're talking about. And that rare species is called good carbohydrate. I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about because I just don't think there is such a thing. I'm back in my truck. I'm unlocking, getting ready to drive home. Thanks for sticking with me this long. Should be a video pop up over here that has the entire September walking challenge. Another one over here you haven't seen. Don't forget to get out there and do 1% better today. Have a great day, everyone.